Eight-Legged Freaks is a 2002 creature feature directed by Ellery L. Khayyam. The residents of a small town end up fighting for their lives after a toxic waste accident unleashes an army of gigantic spiders upon them. But before we get into this eight-legged adventure, I just want to ask that if you end up enjoying this video, then please think about hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. And if you do, make sure to hit the bell icon so you never miss any of my videos. It would really help me out, so thanks. Also, there will be full spoilers ahead, but if that doesn't bother you, then grab your honey rust ham-flavoured popcorn and whip out a bottle of David Arquette chup as we dive into Eight-Legged Freaks. So the movie begins with a big red gob saying,
"This is a story of monsters."
Ones with more than 7 legs, but less than 9 legs. That's right, 7.5-legged monsters. I'm going to call this guy Raymond Dio, or just Ray for short. And he runs his own radio broadcast where he talks about crazy topics such as government mind control, aliens, and this cafe who foolishly spelt dinner wrong. Elsewhere we see a truck driver driving a truck, as they're often known to do, and he's transporting some poorly secured barrels of toxic waste. Which means nothing to this rabbit by the roadside, who is thinking, now do I cross the road while it's clear? Or do I wait until a car is coming like pheasants do? So it crosses, but the truck comes around the corner, and it swerves to avoid hitting the rabbit, losing one of its poorly secured toxic waste barrels in the process, and it rolls down this hill and lands in the lake below. What a waste! A toxic waste! 1 week later and we see this fella failing to catch fish because he picked the smallest net I have ever seen. And hey, it's Tom Noonan! What's he been in again? He was the baddie in RoboCop 2, remember? Kane. Nope, not seen that one. You've never seen RoboCop 2? Right, as soon as we finish this, we're watching RoboCop 2. Oh, do we have to? Yes, Ken. Yes, we do. Do we have to? Anyway, Kane collects spiders, so he's gathering crickets by the lake for them to eat. And this kid is on his way to see him, while the toxic waste barrel is like, "Hey kid, little help? Hello? Toxic waste barrel drowning over here!" Ah, damn it. My wife is going to kill me if I miss another Sunday lunch with her parents. So the kid, who I'm going to call Bolly, because Billy is too obvious a name for a kid, isn't it? Gets scared by this tarantula and stumbles backwards into Kane. And Christ, if I turned around and saw him standing there, I'd have probably shit myself. And then swiftly apologise for my lack of bowel control. Anyway, Kane shows Bolly his various spiders and says they've been growing bigger than normal because of the crickets from the lake. Bolly is fascinated by them, but he needs to head off as he's just remembered he's late for work. And by work I mean home, and by late I mean shouldn't be hanging around with creepy old men. And almost as soon as he's gone, a spider climbs up Kane's back and bites him on the neck. To which his reaction is, "Ah! I got bit! I must absolutely wreck the place!" And in doing so releases all the spiders. What a goof. Another week later and we see this greyhound wearing a coach costume running down the road, because it probably got loose from a racetrack and ran through a fancy dress shop, I reckon. And inside it is Dewey from the Scream movies, who is in between screams at the moment and wakes up thinking, "Ugh, why does it smell like wet dog in here?" Anyway, he arrives at his destination and speaks to this old lady who thinks he's there for a job.
"Sorry, son, we aren't hiring."
You sure? I'm a pretty good engineer.
Do I look like a woman who isn't sure?
No, you look like a prune which is 30 years past its expiry date. Turns out she's actually his Aunt Gladys and didn't recognise him. "Why you always getting stabbed in the Scream movies, Dewey? You like a magnet for stabbing." Back to Bolly, who hasn't got very far in the space of a week, has he? Anyway, in the lake he spots Deputy David Davidson, son of David, and says,
"What are you doing out here?"
"Saving this barrel's life, obviously. Poor thing nearly drowned, despite not having lungs, which is quite an achievement."
The question is, what are you doing out here?
Turns out the sheriff is Bolly's mum, who I'm going to call Policewoman Milf. That's a bit derogatory, don't you think? Ah, right, sorry. Sheriff Milf, then. But that's not... So she tells Bolly to head home while Deputy David Davidson, son of David, is like, "Hang on a minute. Where's me hair gone?" Elsewhere, we see these teenagers ragging around on dirt bikes like a bunch of irresponsible bastards. Bastards! So Sheriff Milf pulls them over, and one of them turns out to be her daughter, played by a teenage Scarlett Johansson. Which is funny because here she is in a spider movie, having no idea that one day her most famous role will be a character named after a spider. Obviously, that being Sydney Funnelweb. So Sheriff Milf gives the lads a fine for being young and tells them to fuck off. As you do. Back at their house, Bolly tries to give Kane a call, but only gets his answering machine. "Sorry, I can't come to the phone right now. I'm a bit webbed up and somewhat deceased. Please try again later." Elsewhere, the town is having a town meeting at the town mall, which is on the outskirts of town. And they're all whinging at the mayor because Twister ice lollies are significantly smaller than they used to be. And don't give me this, "Oh, they just looked bigger when you were a kid" bullshit. I may be an idiot, but I'm not stupid.
This is a government cover-up, isn't it?
Ray, you think the entire month of December is a government cover-up? Anyone else? Then Dewey rocks up saying, "Yeah, I've got a question. Is nobody else going to mention that the mayor is a vampire? No one? Well, you ain't sucking me dry, you undead prick. I'm out of here. But the mayor follows him outside because he wants to drink his blood. So Dewey gives him a schmack, but ends up in handcuffs. Though once the mayor has left, Sheriff Milf lets Dewey go, because she really liked Scream 1 to 4, even though the fourth one wouldn't have been out yet. Afterwards we see Deputy David Davidson, son of David, doing some DIY at home, which I believe stands for David in Yogurt. But then his cat sees something crawling into a hole in the wall and follows it in, with David's wife like, "Where's Officer Meow gone?"
Don't tell me he went into the drywall again.
Honey, he's a cat. If there's a hole in the wall, he's going in it. So they try and coax him out by saying,
"Get your furry cat ass out of there."
"No, I'm indulging my curiosity. It's not like that's ever killed a feline before." But then they hear a kerfuffle before imprints of a spider and the cat start slamming into the wall. Oh, so it's a live-action cartoon now. And here was me taking it seriously. Back at Bolly's house, the doorbell rings and Minnie Scarlett goes to answer it, thinking it's her boyfriend. But he's stopped by her mum, who says, "Look, boys at your age only want one thing. GTA Vice City? Okay, two things, but if your boyfriend doesn't take no for an answer, then use this stun gun and zap her the balls."
Mom.
Say it. Ugh, zap her the balls. That's my girl. But turns out it's only Dewey, who's brought some flowers for Officer Milf. Aww. Meanwhile, Bolly has gone to check on Kane, but he finds his place a right mess, and more webbed up than Dr. Octopus on a bad day. And he follows the spider tracks into the town mine, which he really should stay out of, because it's not his, it's mine! And inside he finds this thing on the floor and thinks, ugh, who just leaves an exoskeletal penis lying around? Then he sees the silhouette of a really big spider down the tunnel, so he makes like my pants after Christmas dinner, and splits. He then flags down this car which is driven by Dewey, and says,
Hey, can you give me a ride into town, mister?
"No, I'm not a serial killer, I promise." What? I mean...
Sure, hop in, kid.
Ah, the early noughties, back when stranger danger didn't exist. So Bolly tells him about the giant spider in the mine, but Dewey doesn't believe him because most children are untrustworthy. Elsewhere, and we see that damn vampire town mayor on the phone talking about how he's been illegally storing toxic waste without the town's knowledge, which is probably where he got the money for his emu farm. Speaking of which, they start kicking up a fuss outside as one of the emus is snatched by a big spiddy. Hold on, those aren't emus! They're... Go on, Ken. Please continue. No, you're right. They're emus. That damn vampire sees that something is wrong, so he goes outside and is like, "Bloody rain pestering my emus again! I'm gonna shoot the shit out of it, the weather bastard!" But then he finds an emu drumstick on the ground and is like, "What the hell is going on?"
What the hell is going on?
The next day, and we see Minnie Scarlett having a wee smooch with her boyfriend, but he wants to go further than she's willing to.
Brett, look, I'm warning you, okay?
But he doesn't listen, so she whips out her stun gun and...
Back off!
Yes! She's up at her bars! Oh, Andy's pissed himself! Oh, this is just marvellous. So she drives off, leaving Piss Pant alone with his sore testicles. But then he sees a load of jumping spiders on top of the hill. So he runs over to his mates who say,
Dude, did you piss your pants?
"What, you mean you haven't pissed your pants? Losers."
Boing.
And everyone takes off on their dirt bikes in a panic.
Boing, 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 boing.
Mid-air kick for the macaw! Pisspant manages to lose them, as they decide this wild lorry looks more tasty. What they don't know, however, is this species of lorry explodes when it feels threatened.
It's got a wonderful defense mechanism. You don't dare kill it.
And unfortunately, the explosion destroys the one telephone pole the entire town was reliant on, leaving David Davidson, son of David, like,
Hello? Hello?
"Oh, great. Now the takeaway's gonna think all I wanted was one can of Coke." Oh, and the spiders are back on Pisspant, which chase him into this mine entrance, which he accidentally collapses behind him. Elsewhere, we see Dewey's aunt unpacking her shopping when her dog hears something odd in the basement, so it goes to investigate. "Hey, who put this hole in the basement? Eh? 'Cause I disapprove. And not only that, but... Ah! Help me, Gladys!" Gladys soon finds the hole too, and crawls in to help her furry friend, but instead finds herself in the mine tunnel surrounded by spiders which web her up good and proper. Bless her. That's the first time she's been covered in sticky stuff in decades. Ew! What? 20 years ago she spilt a jar of honey on herself. Why did you think I meant? Filth! Soon after, Dewey also finds the basement tunnel, but finds a big severed spider leg by the entrance and thinks, "Sod that!" and takes off. He heads straight to Bolly's house and says, "Okay, kid, I believe you about the giant spiders now." But Sheriff Milf is like,
What's going on?
and it's at this point I've just realised she also played Gil's sister in Sharknado 2! And she was Owen Wilson's girlfriend in Anaconda. No, was she? I'm gonna have to look that up. Just a second. Oh, you're right, Ken. Wow. Then we see Minnie Scarlet, who has just had a shower, but then sees a great big spider climbing in through her bedroom window and thinks,
Holy flirting schnit!
before it webs her to the wall. The others rush into her room and her mum is like, damn it, Scarlet, I told you no boys in the bedroom! Dewey tries to fight it with a chair, but fails because a chair is not a weapon, so he gets webbed to the wall too. But not to worry, Sheriff Milf has got this shit, and she blasts the 8-legged git with a shotgun. Now please get me out of this webbing. I really need a piss. Sheriff Milf then gives David Davidson, son of David, a call and tells him to tool up and meet them ASAP. So he does, but he's followed by a whole load of jumping spiders.
Boing. 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 Boing.
He makes it to the house, but is soon surrounded by spiders. So the others fight off the spiders, get in the car, and the town is proper overrun by the buggers now. So they head to Ray's place and commandeer his radio broadcast to warn the town.
I want everyone to arm themselves immediately.
But then a giant tarantula shows up and starts wobbling the trailer like, I can't climb over this, it's too wobbly. Where? So it topples over and Ray does a good impression of me at a funeral. Then the three of them climb out and get in the car before taking off back to town. Elsewhere, the patrons of this cafe notice things are going pretty crazy outside, including Alan Moore, who won't be satisfied until his coffee is 90% sugar. But this spider is determined to ruin his day. Ha ha! Double glazing for the mucker! Meanwhile at the mall, that damn vampire goes outside to find loads of townfolk turning up saying, quick! General Factory has a buy one get one free offer on Generals! Then the gang show up, followed by a shit ton of spiders. So Dewey gets the mall janitor to close the front gate. And once everyone's inside, that damn vampire says,
What exactly is it? Spider-Man?
bollocks, that's not Spider-Man. He's a superhero and I know that because I've seen the movies, Now it's only a matter of time before the spiders break through the gate. So Dewey says he's going to climb up the radio tower on top of the mall to get a signal and call for help. So he recruits Ray and they head off while Sheriff Milf says,
All right, those of you who don't have weapons need to arm yourselves with anything that you can dig up.
but Sheriff, digging will exhaust our energy. And the ground might not even contain any armaments. Oh, good point. Okay, instead I want all of you to find weapons from the various shops around the mall. So the townsfolk tool up while Dewey climbs the radio tower with Ray holding off the buggers below.
911 emergency.
Well, it's a good job he didn't sound crazy or she might not have believed him. Back in the mall they've noticed that damn vampire has taken off on his own. The janitor says he's probably trying to escape through the storage room into the mines below. Though why the storage room connects to the mines is anyone's guess, but whatever. So Bolly and Minnie Scarlet guide the townsfolk down there while everyone else prepares to hold off the spiders, which have just about broken in. But to be honest, Jason Voorhees with a chainsaw there could probably take them all on his own, I reckon. And in they come like a flood of arachnids, because that's what they are. Cue lots and lots of spider slaying, and oh dear, Jason's a goner. And why is David Davidson, son of David, using a handgun? He didn't even reload his shotgun from his bandoliers. Bandoliers! Good word. Aye, and also very satisfying to say. Bandoliers! Thankfully, he manages to roll under this shutter and using Jason's chainsaw, he cuts off all the spiddy legs poking through like, yeah, take that, you long-legged buggers. Back to Dewey, who has had just about enough of these 8-legged freaks and says,
Get back, you 8-legged freak!
And as they're being overrun, Ray decides that it's better to jump to his death than be eaten by spiders, so he makes a mad dash through them and jumps off the side of the building. Fortunately, he lands on a very spongy bush in front of David, which amazingly reduces his lethal fall damage to 0. Dewey, on the other hand, is forced to zipline down into this vent. Ow! Dewey banged his noodle! Ow! Twice banged his noodle! Then Sheriff Milf finds Dewey in the vent and helps him out. Thrice noodle! Oh! They meet up with everyone in the storeroom, and then bloody Piss Pant comes crashing through the wall in a forklift truck. So they've got no option than to make their way through the mines now, which is also full of methane gas from all them spider pumps.
The slightest spark or an open flame can blow us all to hell.
Or blow the spiders to hell, am I right? I said, am I right? Ken! Oh, sorry, I didn't think you were talking to me. Well, who the hell else am I going to be talking to? Lieutenant Bacon?
Oink, oink.
And it's not long before the gang stumble upon the spider's nest, where they find that damn vampire webbed up, but unfortunately he's still alive. Well, as alive as a vampire can be, but you know what I mean. Dewey tells everyone to follow the lighting cables out to the exit while he goes to look for his Aunt Gladys, but he needs to tell Sheriff Milf something before they go.
I should have said this a long time ago.
You love me. You've always loved me. And if only you'd said something sooner, maybe our lives would be different.
No, actually, I got married while I was away. Oh, well, don't I feel foolish? Nah, I'm just kidding, of course I love you. Now, give me a kiss, you sexy sheriff, you. So everyone makes their way towards the exit while Dewey finds Gladys. Doesn't take him long, and once she's freed, the big mammy spider shows up like, "Hey, what you doing? That's my dinner, you shit." But Dewey can't even shoot it without setting off the gas. So instead he whips out a large bottle of aftershave and gives its face a squirt, which works surprisingly well because this spider has a very delicate nasal passage. Then the two of them hop on a Piss Pants bike and take off through the tunnels with the big spider in pursuit, stopping only briefly to stick a pack of matches up against this broken light so it'll set off the gas when the others turn the power on outside, which is exactly what they're doing now they've found their way out. So they hit the power and boom, the gas goes kablamo and the tunnels fill with flames, killing all the spiders, with Dewey and his aunt making it out just in the nick of time. So the day is saved. The emergency services show up an hour or so too late. That damn vampire goes bankrupt because his mall just exploded. Lol. Piss Pants still stinks a piss. Ray is tired and goes to bed. David Davidson, son of David, grows some new hairs thanks to the toxic waste he handled, but also now has 3 weeks to live. And Dewey, Sheriff Milf and the family live happily ever after. Well, until Dewey gets killed off in Scream 5. Boy, do I hate that fucking movie. End of movie. And there we have it, folks. Eight-Legged Freaks is a really fun creature feature with enough laughs and gross-out moments to make it memorable. It may be a bit too silly for some, but if you go into it with an open mind, then I'd say it's pretty hard not to have a good time watching this. So, Eight-Legged Freaks, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you loathe it? Let me know in the comments below while me and Ken go and watch RoboCop 2.
A few minutes later.
Why does RoboCop have a pearlescent sheen to him in this one? Well, even RoboCop needs a fresh coat of paint now and again, doesn't he? Well, I don't like it. And why is that child a criminal? Christ, are you going to complain throughout this whole movie? Because if you are, then I'll turn it off. Oh no, then I would miss out on this cinematic masterpiece. Hey, what are you doing? Oh! Oh! Much better.